collar is just a chain with 2 rings on either end. The way you're going to use this, you're going to touch one end of your 6-foot leash or your tab. This is a tab line. It's just a short little handle leash that you can leave on your dog when he's playing, so you can correct him for playing in ways you don't want. You attach one end to your leash, and then you drop your other end through. Now when it goes on over the dog's head, it should look like the letter P to U. That's when the dog is facing you. So if this is his little nose, it's going to slip on just like that. Now your double check that this is on correctly is when the dog is on your left hand side, and that's at all times when you're formally working with him. What you're going to have is your chain running across the top, your ring running across the bottom. When I'm talking about a correction, what I'm talking about is one quick snap release, and that's in conjunction with the word no. We tell a dog to do something one time. After that, he gets corrected. For instance, let's say we're talking about sit. We tell him sit, and he goes, he rocks, pal, I don't have to do that. You tell him, no, sit. He still didn't do it. No, sit, still didn't do it. No, sit. The idea is to get a little bit firmer each time in your training collar, not firmer in your voice. Reason being, if the dog gets used to listening to you talk to him in the same tone of voice all the time, the one time you need to scream at your dog, no, sit, when he's getting ready to run out in front of a car, he's going to be 100 times more likely to listen to you. Now, let's talk about a couple mistakes you can make with this collar. First thing you ask him for, you tell him, sit. Well, you just communicated, hey babe, you're on a leash. Always ask first, then correct, even if you don't think you have your dog's attention. If you ask first, one of 2 things is going to happen. Either A, he's going to do it, oh wow, he was paying more attention than you thought, or B, he's not, and that gives you the right to correct him, and he learns from that, wow, I should have paid a little bit more attention to my handler at that point. Second most common mistake, either A, allowing the dog to pull on you, or B, you pulling on him. First of all, we correct what we call the intent to pull, not the pull itself. You don't want to wait until your dog is hitting the end of the leash. If this chain is up like this, that is a tight leash and that is a pull. You are already late. Again, we correct intent. When you see your dog going, oh, what's over there? Boom, that's where you want to be popping him. Watch your dog's ears. The ears are the window to a dog's soul. If a dog's ears are forward, they are paying attention to something that is not you. If the dog's ears are back, they're paying attention to you. So when you see the dog's ears go forward, that's when you want to think about changing directions and correcting. Again, we correct intent. So basically when he goes, oh, what's over there? That's where you're popping him. Now, if he does manage to hit the end, and it's going to happen, you're going to see a squirrel, he's going to hit the end, and you weren't there. You've got to do a double at that point. What you've got to do is pull him back. Now, that's not going to get you anywhere. It's just going to pull him back into place and then correct him. So rapid fire, it's going to look like this. Yank and then pop, okay? Now, closely related to that is you pulling on the dog. Let me show you the difference between a correction and a pull. This is a correction. This is a pull. See the difference? All I did was hold at the top for a split second. If you do that, what your dog is going to do is he's going to tense up his neck muscles against you, and you're not going to get anywhere with him. So when you're correcting, what you want to feel like is you're popping up as quick as humanly possible. But up here, there's this little imaginary trampoline that's bouncing your hand right back. I don't care if your dog weighs 220 pounds. If you feel like you are using a ton of physical strength against your dog, you are doing something wrong. This is not about being physically strong. It's about making the right thing easy and the wrong thing difficult. Last most common mistake I see owners make with these things is putting this on backwards. If you put this on backwards, now your training collar chain that's running across the bottom of that ring, when you go to correct, you're going to go pop, and it's just not going to re-release. So always find your P, double check that the chain is running across the top of that ring. Now, this is a very simple machine. If this thing gets worked around to the wrong side, it's going to do that same lockup. If that happens, you just take your whole leash, flip it over the dog's head, and that'll loosen the rings back up. What you don't want to do is a lot of adjusting like this. If you do that and your dog takes off right then, you can actually lose your fingers. So you want to make sure that you do not touch the collar when it is on the dog. Always use the collar itself to flip. The training collar should go on like a P to U. That's when the dog is facing you. So notice the leg of the P is the leash hanging down. That slips on just like that. Now your double check is when the dog is on your left, the chain is running across the top, the ring is running across the bottom.